Welcome back to my next playthrough series. This time it's Battle for Greyport once again. But we're going to be doing the Goblin King. So we'll take a zoom down here in a second and have a look at it. We're going to be using two different characters as well. So let's dive down here. We're going to take a look at the Goblin King and see what it's all about. Alright, I think this is focusing well enough to read it. I'm not going to go over the rules or setup for this playthrough. I did that in the Interrupted Party, which was the first time I did Battle for Greyport, and I did a couple of things wrong in it, which I hope to not do wrong in this one. So this scenario is called the Goblin King. So Torgal Snarf Dunkleton, the self-proclaimed Goblin King, is known to have more ambition than sense. He's decided to lead an attack on Greyport, and he's hired the fearsome General Drog as his personal bodyguard. It's up to you to stop him. So this is going to have 3 encounters. Hail to the King. We could be drinking right now, and the 5-fingered discount. And locations are going to be the Dwarven Ruins, the Red Dragon Inn, and the Market District. And its difficulty says easy, so let's hope we can win it. And to win, we need to defeat Drog and Torgal Snarf. And to lose, any one player is reduced to 0 hit points. Both our players this time are going to start at 10 hit points, so it's going to be a little bit better. And I'm using the 1.1 rules, which means in between encounters, each of our heroes is going to heal 2 hit points. So that should reduce the difficulty somewhat as well. So we're going to have goblins and we're going to have brutes in this one. And so our first scenario, our first encounter is Hail to the King. So this is the Hail to the King setup. And what it means for 2 players, our location, which is the Dwarven Ruins, is going to have a 5 health. Each of our players, the location starts with 4 threat of monsters, and each player starts with 2, and I'll show you that here in a second. So we're just going to be using the Goblinoids. Each player has 2 silver, 2 copper coins, and there's no penalty if we lose the location. So let's take a look at the Dwarven Ruins. Alright, so taking a look at the Dwarven Ruins, it has 4 health. And there is a reason for that, and we might as well look at that right now. The reason it has 4 health and not 5 is because this card showed up for Fiona the Volatile, the Mad Bomber, and it has an ambush effect. The location loses 1 hit point. So that's why we're starting at 4, and we will look at our characters here in a moment. But the Dwarven Ruins has a special ability. It says physical heroes have dual wield. Now physical in this game are the red cards. So Fiona is a physical hero, Zot the Wizard is not, because he uses magic. And if we successfully defend the Dwarven Ruins, we get to reveal the top 5 cards of the item deck. A player of the party's choice may recruit a physical item for free among the revealed cards, and the item reinforcement row. Shuffle the revealed cards back into the item deck. And as we already saw, if we lose the location, there's no effect. Alright, let's take a look quickly at Fiona. We're going to take a look at Zot, and then we're going to take a look at the monsters that are on the Dwarven Ruin location, and then we'll begin the game. Alright, we might as well look at the location monsters to start with. So we have a Grunt, no special ability, he's going to do 1 damage, has 7 health. We have a Frenzy Goblin, 2 damage, 6 health, and we have a Peon, which is 1 damage and 6 health. Now that's not good, because right now if they all get to attack the location, that's 1, 2, 3, 4 damage, there's only 4 health on the location, we'd lose it first turn, but of course we're not going to let that happen. Alright, we're going to take a look at Fiona, we're going to take a look at Zot. Fiona's in our first player, and then we're going to do, well, we have to look at what's in the offering as well for heroes and items. So we'll do that quickly, and then we'll get into the gameplay. Alright, so here we have Fiona, so we're going to take a look at her cards. So her level 1 card, which of course will change to level 2 once we change encounters. Fiona, she's going to be rolling a yellow die, and she has the Cleave ability, which means she can attack 2 monsters simultaneously. So that's her level 1. Her starting hand of 5 cards is a short sword and board, acolyte, wand of magic missiles, an acolyte, and another acolyte. So that's her starting hand. She has, of course, 2 silver coins, 2 copper coins for buying, and she has 10 hit points. And she has the Mad Bomber attacking her at the moment. So that's Fiona. Let's take a look at Zot the Wizard. Alright, over we are here to Zot the Wizard. Let's take a look at him. And so his card, he's level 1. He has Splash 2, which means every other monster in the same group that he attacks is going to take 2 splash damage. So that's a pretty useful attack. His starting hand is a soldier, an acolyte, soldier, an acolyte, and another acolyte. And you can see the physical heroes are the red border ones, and the ones that do magic are the blue border. So the Dwarven Ruins, of course, has to do physical heroes have dual wield. Dual wield means instead of having just one weapon or item that they can attach themselves, they can attach two. And he has the Fire Spitter attached to him right now. He's ranged. He has 1 shield, 5 health. All right, with that said, I guess we can very quickly look at this. I'm not going to go through all the points, but this is basically what happens during a round, and then there's end of round. And so on the back of every one of the divider cards for the heroes is that information. Again, 2 coppers, 2 silvers, and 10 hit points. All right, I'm going to zoom out, and we're going to do basically one round, or we're going to do Fiona the Volatile, Zot the Wizard, and we'll call that intro in episode 1. But yes, before we do that, we're going to take a quick look at what is in the offering for items and heroes to purchase. Not sure just exactly how well that's going to show up. I'm not going to bring every card up. But we have an Assassin, which rolls a yellow die +2. Assassin ability ignores tank, ranged, and monster armor, so it's a special ability. We have Kronos the Mage, rolling a white die. You may declare Kronos fight targets after rolling his dice. The fight targets must be legal. Cool. We have a Rogue rolling a yellow die, has the taunt ability. We have the Wench, like this one, white die. Choose one, you get to snipe 3, or the Wench may use magical items, or she has splash 2. Very cool. For items, we have a Kite Shield, giving 1 shield immediately. We have the Kunai throwing knives, I guess. They can taunt, and it has +1 hero. The dagger is dual wield, which we already have at the Dwarven Ruins, and cleave, and the freezing staff rolls a white die. That's basically it. All right, that's the offering. Now we're going to zoom out. We're going to have Fiona take her turn, and then we're going to have Zot take his turn, and then we're going to call it an episode. All right, so I think I have everything positioned here well enough so I can kind of do both characters without having to keep bouncing back and forth with the camera. And so basically, during a round, on each round, players may take any of the following actions. Play a hero, 1 per player. Play an item, 1 per hero. Fight an active monster or location monster. If there are no active monsters, the defending player may use the round marker to taunt a monster. And so, how it all works again, I'm not going to go over the rules like I said, but Fiona's going to be our first player. She can play 1 hero. But of course, the Dwarven Ruins gives any physical hero dual wield, but we're probably not going to do that. So I think if we look at Fiona's card, she has an Acolyte, Wand of Magic Missile. I mean, she could play an Acolyte with Wand of Magic Missiles. That would do a total of 2 damage. But I think because it's her turn, so she's going to refresh at the end of her turn anyway, I think she's going to be playing herself with the sword and board. So she's going to have the cleave ability. She's going to be rolling a yellow die and getting +1 damage. And this actually gives her taunt. So she could use this taunt to take 1 monster down with her, and she could also use the taunt of sword and board to bring another monster to her, if she wanted to. And that's a good question, whether she wants to do that. But before she does any of that, I think she will use her taunt. Because again, the location only has 4 hit points. If these 4 attack the location, we're going to lose the location on the first turn. Don't really want to do that. So she will taunt 1 of the monsters away from the location. And I think she's going to go ahead and she's going to taunt the Frenzy Goblin. He's the tough guy with 2. Now we're going to have to hit him first because this guy's ranged, which means he's in the back row. So we're going to have to attack the Frenzy Goblin first. Now, of course, at the same time, Zot can play cards. He could play himself, or he could play one of the soldiers or acolyte. But I think he's just going to go ahead. I wonder if he should play himself. Well, that doesn't leave him much to do then. But I think he will play himself. Zot is also going to play his character, which is rolling a yellow die and splash 2 damage. So that's pretty good. But we got to figure out what order we want to play these in. Now, I wonder if Fiona's going to use the taunt from the sword and board. She's going to taunt the peon down to her as well as this, because she's allowed to taunt twice, once for the token, once for the sword and board. All right, here we go. I think we're going to have Zot go first. So Zot plays himself. He's just going to roll a yellow die, but splash 2 means we're going to get 2 damage on every other monster in the group. And there's 3 monsters in Fiona's group now. She's the active player. So let's go ahead and roll that yellow die, and we're going to see what Zot gets. Come on, high number. And he gets a 2. Oh, we got to say, we're going to attack the Frenzy Goblin. He's the most dangerous. Should have mentioned that to start with. So we're going to be putting 2 damage on the Frenzy Goblin. The nice thing about Zot is he has Splash, which means we're going to get 2 damage on every other minion in that group. So 2 damage for the Peon, 2 damage for the Mad Bomber. All right, this is working out pretty well so far. Now Fiona's going to go. She's going to be rolling a yellow die and adding 1 to it because she's using herself and the sword and board, and she also has Cleave. So this attack of hers is going to attack the Frenzy Goblin and the Peon at the same time because she has Cleave. So let's see what she can roll on the yellow die. Come on, high number! She also gets a 2. 2 and 1. She's going to be doing 3 damage. Oh man, 3 damage to both of them, which doesn't kill either of them. Okay, so 3 for 5 damage on the Frenzy Goblin, 5 damage on the Peon, and 2 damage on the Mad Bomber. Ooh, this is, well, maybe this was bad on my part, but hey, that's the way it goes. So that's Fiona playing, so we're going to basically tap her cards. So they've both played heroes, and they've attacked monsters. Now we go to the ending of the round. Now it's monster damage time. Unfortunately, we didn't kill any of these guys, which is not good. They're all alive, so we're going to get 2, 4, 5 damage is going to get through to Fiona, knocking her right down to 5 health. That's half her health in the first shot. Wow, and this is supposed to be easy. Okay, well, I probably made a mistake doing this, but hey, it is what it is. Next, the location gets damage from monsters. Well, there's only the Grunt left at the Dwarven Ruins. We're going to go from 4 hit points down to 3 hit points. So the Dwarven Ruins not really in danger of anything happening. And now it's cleanup. So all players resolve all cleanup abilities, discard any played cards. Well, Fiona, because it's her turn, she will refresh. So she's going to, I'm just going to put her back as refreshed because it's her turn. We're going to discard the sword and board, though. It's going to go on the bottom of the draw pile, like so. And now we have to do the same thing with Zot. Now, Zot only played himself, so he's basically exhausted. So on his turn, which is coming right up, he's not going to be available. And he's not the active player, so he can't draw or do anything else with his cards. He's basically finished. But what we can still do, we can discard any unused shield tokens. Well, we didn't have any. And now the defending player gets to recruit. So Fiona gets to spend either silver or copper to recruit. So let's take a look and see what she wants to recall. Right, and Fiona is very quickly going to spend a silver coin. She has 2 of them. And she is going to recruit the Assassin. This guy's pretty awesome. He rolls a yellow die +2, and he can attack anyone he wants. Ignores tank, ranged, and monster armor. This guy's brutal. Good for us, I mean. And that goes into Fiona's hand. Does not go in discard pile like other deck builders. It goes directly to her hand. And of course we have to replace it. And we replace it with a Fire Mage, silver. Splash 3, it rolls a yellow. Wow, that's better than Zot. Good stuff coming up so far. All right, back to Fiona. She's not finished with her turn quite yet. So Fiona has an option now. She can discard any cards in her hand that she wants. And I think she's going to discard 1, 2, 3. She's going to discard all 4. Or does she? How many cards? Yeah, she's going to discard all 4 of her sort of magic user cards. So she'll hang on to the Assassin. So that gets discarded. And then she's going to draw up to 5 cards for the end of her turn. So she refills. So 1, 2, 3, 4 cards she had left. I'll put these sideways so I know that they've been used. And these are the 4 cards plus the 1 card she's keeping. So she gets a soldier. So she has 4 soldiers and the Assassin now in her hand to play basically on the next turn. So that's going to be the end of the turn, and then the taunt marker is going to move to Zot, and it's going to flip up to the taunt side. All right, that was basically turn one, and it didn't go very well. I thought we were going to kill at least one of these guys, but unfortunately for us, we didn't quite get a good die where we could have got a 3 or a 4 on this. Would have wiped out both these guys, but it didn't happen. All right, up next, we're going to have Zot. All right, so we're going to go to Zot, and does he want to taunt anybody? I think we want to leave this guy up here. He's only doing 1 damage to the Dwarven Ruins. Don't think we need to worry about it just yet. So Zot gets to play a card, but he's already played himself. It wasn't his turn, so he didn't get to refresh his hand or his card. So what he has in his hand to play is basically a soldier, an acolyte, a soldier, acolyte, and an acolyte. So he might as well go ahead and he can play 1 hero, so he'll play an acolyte. Well, okay. Going to be doing 1 damage. Now, unfortunately, the only character here is the fire spitter with 1 shield, so that's going to be ineffective. Now, he could go ahead and taunt the grunt down, but that's just dangerous maneuvers again for us getting damage. I don't think we're going to bother, so he'll go ahead and play the acolyte. Or we could do something a little trickier. Instead of doing that, this is just ending up with a lot of damage for us, but I think it might work. He's going to actually use taunt. He's going to taunt the grunt down to him. Now, because this guy's ranged, we have to attack the grunt first. Now that we've completely taken all monsters away from the Dwarven Ruins, and I should have put the Hail to the King. This should have been on the bottom of the Dwarven Ruins to show us that if we lose the location, there's no penalty. But we do get to reveal the top 5 cards of the item deck. A player of the party's choice can recruit a physical item for free from among the revealed cards. And then reinforcement row. Then shuffle the revealed cards back into the deck. So let's go over to the deck here, and we're going to do that because we have a soldier that Zot can play. If we can get a really powerful or good weapon for him, we might be able to smack down this grunt pretty easily. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. We now get the benefit of defending the Dwarven Ruins. All right, so we get to look at the top 5 cards. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the item deck. And we get to we choose to recruit any physical item for free. Now this could be gold items. So let's hope we get some gold items. We get another dagger. We have already got one. A broadsword. We have, well, that's not a physical weapon. The claymore is a green. Oh, this is, obviously we are going to take the claymore for free, and that gets recruited right into Zot's hand. That is exactly what I was looking for. These items then are going to get shuffled back into this deck, so I'll do that off camera. Let's go back now and continue with Zot's turn. All right, Zot, way to go. So he's recruited this item for free because we've defended the Dwarven Ruins, and he is going to be playing it with a soldier. So he's going to be playing a soldier that's going to do 1 damage, rolling a green die, and splash 2. That is awesome. So let's go ahead and, of course, we have to attack the grunt because this guy's ranged, so we have to attack him with the claymore. So we're going to be rolling a green die, and these green die have a lot of damage potential on them. So let's see what we can get. He rolls an 8. 8 plus 1 is 9 damage. Splash 2. So with the splash 2, wow, that is unbelievably good weapon to get right away. Splash 2. This fire spitter is also going to take 1 damage because splash 2, 1 will be deflected by the shield. But wow, 8 damage totally annihilates the grunt. You're out of here. First monster killed. And Fiona has not even played any cards yet. So that was Zot playing his cards. Fiona now has the assassin, and I think she's going to go ahead and play the assassin. Why not? Because the assassin ignores tank, ranged, and monster armor. So the assassin's going to be, of course, attacking this guy, ignoring ranged and anything. Rolling a yellow die plus 2 damage. So let's see what the assassin can do against the fire spitter. Rolls a 2, plus 2 is 4 damage. Not bad, 4 damage. But we have 1 shield. Oh man, we just didn't quite take him out. So that's 4 damage minus 1 is 3 damage we're putting on this guy. That's a total of 4 damage. He has 5 health. Darn it! Alright, so now we're going to be... Oh, I shouldn't quite discard that yet. So we're following the end of round now. So we basically played what we can play. And I don't think anyone had any extra items. No, because we were allowed to dual wield physical characters at the Dwarven Ruins, but it didn't actually come up. We didn't have 2 weapons for anyone to dual wield anyway during this first location. But this location stays out here until all monsters are killed, so that's not bad. Alright, now we're into end of round for Zot. And monsters deal damage. Well, there's 1 monster here. He's going to do 1 damage to Zot. That's not a big deal. Zot's going to go from 10 health down to 9. Not a big deal. Okay, and monsters would deal damage to the location, but we've already secured the location. We don't even need to leave the hit points on there anymore. We just have defended it. There's no monsters there at all. And now it's the cleanup. Remove all abilities, discard all played cards. Well, all cards get discarded. Fiona discards that. And we have Zot discarding the Claymore and the Soldier. And then discard any unused shield tokens. Well, it didn't happen. And now it's recruiting time for Zot. He has 2 silver, 2 copper coins. Let's go and see who he wants to recruit. Alright, so we have a couple of copper items. We have a silver dagger with cleave in it. That's a pretty good, and it's yellow. That's a pretty darn good item. We also have the wench up here, which I really like that one. I think he's going to go ahead, spend a silver coin, and he's going to recruit the wench. Alright, I just like her abilities. Very cool. And of course we immediately replace that with Wulfric. Rolling a green. He's a silver. Wow, another pretty powerful ally. We're getting some pretty good cards here. So, I don't know. Things ramp up and get really brutal though after the first location. And there's 3 locations or 3 encounters in the Goblin King. Alright, back to zoom out, and we're going to finish off Zot's turn, and we're going to call that our first episode. Alright, so continuing on. Recruit. Defending player did it. Discard defending player. Now the defending player can discard any number of cards he wants. I think he's going to discard... He might as well. He'll keep the Acolyte, but he'll discard the Soldier, Acolyte, and Acolyte, which means he's going to be drawing himself 3 new cards. 1, 2, 3 new cards for his next turn. He is also going to refresh. So he gets Acolyte, Amulet of Inspiration, draw a card, play an extra hero. Whoa, that's pretty cool. And a short sword. Alright, so that's going to be his hand of 5 cards. And like I said, because it is his turn, he gets to refresh himself as well. So this will be his hand. And I think that's going to conclude our episode for today. And so where we sit, Fiona at 5 hit points, Zot's at 9. We have lots of damage on the monsters remaining. We've already defended the Dwarven Ruins, got the benefit from it. We're just waiting to clean up the rest of these monsters before we move on to encounter number 2. So thanks so much for watching along. This is once again Battle for Greyport. I'm doing the Goblin King scenario. A little bit longer than the first one. And I think so far we're having pretty good luck with cards, but I think I miscalculated there in the very first opening moves because Fiona took 5 damage, which not exactly what we want to do, because if one hero gets knocked out in the game, you lose the game. So anyway, thanks so much for watching along. Thanks for your comments. Your subscriptions, your likes, really, really appreciate it. So join me tomorrow for the continuation of Battle for Greyport. We are battling the Goblin King.